Hello my unnamed fanbase, and welcome back to another video. By the title and thumbnail, you can probably tell what we are doing today. But if you can't, then we are going to look at some weird Roblox games. Before we start the video, let me remind you that you don't have to let this change your point of view. So without further ado, let's get into our first game. The Claw is one of those games where after you play it for a while, it gets boring. That might be because the premise is a little too simple. Basically, there is one person controlling the claw for an arcade machine, trying to get all the people inside the prize box. And the people that the controller is trying to get in all have big heads and baseball bats. The baseball bats are just to knock each other around a bit. And the big heads win by the time running out, and the controller wins by getting everyone in the prize box before time runs out. The game kind of makes you stay longer by saying how many turns until you control the claw, which I guess is unique, but controlling the claw and winning takes only about 25 seconds if the controller is over 5 years old. So overall, the claw is a solid 7 baseball bats out of 10. I would probably not recommend it that much, but compared to some of the others, it's tame. Speaking of some of the others, let's look at our next game. Boys vs. Girls Capture the Flag is a game made by a group called Gender Wars, which right off the bat is controversial. But aside from that, basically in the game you get different weapons to shoot your opposite gender opponents with, which is just a crazy sentence. There are weapons like dodgeballs that are lighthearted and don't do harm in the real world, and then there is a gun. The whole point of the game is to work as a team to capture the center flag and get the most points at the end of 15 minutes. You can use the weapons I just told you about to kill the opponents and make sure they don't capture the flag. Also, you can upgrade and buy new weapons at the shop. Also, the game is extremely pay to win for people who had flying carpets that costed over 300 Robux. I feel like the game would be better if it wasn't just boys versus girls. Maybe a random team would have been more ideal. But one of the best parts in the game is spawn killing, because it's so accessible and easy to do. And if you want to for some reason play this game after watching this video, I have a strategy that I picked up on. Basically, you just hide in this river and continuously capture the flag over and over until time runs out. And then you eventually win after a while. Overall, Boys vs. Girls Capture the Flag is a ripoff of many other games, and a bit controversial, so it gets 5 flags out of 10. Speaking of ripoffs, Murder Mystery V is in the most literal way possible a ripoff of MM2, down to every legit detail. One of the only differences is that everyone owns everything in the shop and everyone is elite. I only know of this game because my cousin used to play it instead of the real Murder Mystery. I didn't even wait until I got a roll to see if anything was different because I didn't want to play a ripoff for too long because it's kinda a gamble. So overall, a 0 lawsuits out of 10 game would not recommend. Oh, and speaking of gambling.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
So Souls or NG is just a game of chance over and over. Basically, you roll and you get a rarity, and every time you roll you decide if you want to keep the rarity you just rolled or not. It's such a simple and boring game, but it has so many players for not much reason. Now, I don't know all the power-ups or whatever in the game, or if they make the game any funner, but this game is just boring. Half of the people are AFK, so it's not a good game to socialize, and at the end of the day, it's just no point. I don't really understand how this was a Roblox nominee for Best Game. Anyway, the best rarity I got was Divine, so I don't know if that's anything, but I don't really care. Anyways, this is the final game, so let's get into the conclusion. I rate this 3 gamblers out of 10. So for the past 4 minutes, we have looked at some weird/bad Roblox games, And to score them all, we are going to tally up all of their ratings, which is a whopping. Anyways, goodbye unnamed fanbase, and suggest some more weird games if I do this again.